In 2001, a serial killer was caught in Auburn, Washington, bringing an end to a decades-long reign of terror that claimed the lives of 49 women. In 2001, a serial killer was caught in Auburn, Washington, bringing an end to a decades-long reign of terror that claimed the lives of 49 women. The Green River Killer, as he came to be known, was one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. His crimes were brutal and shocking, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The case would go on to become one of the most infamous in true crime history, with a manhunt that lasted for decades and a killer who seemed to always be one step ahead of the law. The Green River Killer's victims were mostly sex workers and runaways, women who were vulnerable and often overlooked by society. Their bodies were found in and around the Green River, which ran through the heart of Washington state. The killer's methods were clever and calculating, always seeming to evade capture. But in 2001, that all changed. Gary Ridgway was born in 1949 in Salt Lake City, Utah. He grew up in a seemingly normal family, but his childhood was marked by instability and violence. His father was a strict disciplinarian, and Ridgway would later claim that he was abused as a child. As he grew older, Ridgway's behavior became increasingly erratic and violent. He was arrested multiple times for crimes ranging from theft to assault, but he always managed to talk his way out of trouble. It wasn't until the 1980s, when the bodies of the Green River Killer's victims began to appear, that authorities started to take notice of Ridgway. He was questioned by police, but he denied any involvement in the crimes. The investigation continued, but Ridgway remained one step ahead of the law. He was a clever and calculating killer, always seeming to evade capture. The investigation into the Green River Killer's crimes was one of the largest and most complex in American history. Detectives worked tirelessly to gather evidence and follow leads, but the killer always seemed to be one step ahead. The case was marked by a series of frustrating setbacks and false starts, as detectives chased down tips and interviewed suspects. But despite the challenges, the detectives refused to give up. They were driven by a determination to bring the killer to justice and to provide closure for the families of the victims. The investigation would span decades, with new leads and new suspects emerging all the time. But it wasn't until 2001, when a surprising twist led to the killer's arrest, that the case would finally be solved. In 2001, detectives finally got the break they had been waiting for. A DNA sample was matched to Gary Ridgway, and he was arrested and charged with the murders of the Green River Killer's victims. At first, Ridgway denied any involvement in the crimes, but as the evidence mounted, he eventually confessed. His confession was shocking and disturbing, as he described the brutal and calculating way in which he had murdered his victims. Ridgway's arrest and confession brought an end to the decades-long manhunt, and it provided closure for the families of the victims. But it also raised questions about how such a brutal and prolific killer had been able to evade capture for so long. The Green River Killer case had a profound impact on the community and the families of the victims. The crimes were brutal and shocking, and they left a trail of devastation in their wake. The families of the victims were left to pick up the pieces and try to make sense of the senseless violence that had been perpetrated against their loved ones. The community was also affected, as people struggled to come to terms with the fact that such a brutal and prolific killer had been living in their midst. The case raised questions about the safety of the community and the effectiveness of the justice system. But it also brought people together, as they rallied around the families of the victims and supported them in their time of need. The Green River Killer case is one of the most infamous in American true crime history. It is a sobering reminder of the scary stories that can unfold in our own backyard. The case has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and films, and it continues to fascinate and horrify people to this day. The legacy of the case is a reminder of the importance of vigilance and the need for communities to come together to support each other. It is also a testament to the dedication and perseverance of the detectives who worked tirelessly to solve the case and bring the killer to justice. The Green River Killer case will always be remembered as one of the most shocking and disturbing in American true crime history. But what is perhaps most shocking about the Green River Killer case is the unexpected twist that led to the killer's arrest. In 2001, detectives discovered that a DNA sample had been matched to Gary Ridgway, but it was not just any DNA sample. It was a sample that had been taken from a cigarette but that Ridgway had discarded. The sample was matched to the DNA of the victims, and it provided the break that detectives had been waiting for. The twist was surprising and shocking, and it highlighted the importance of forensic science in solving crimes. It also raised questions about how such a small piece of evidence could have been overlooked for so long. The Green River Killer case is a sobering reminder of the scary stories that can unfold in our own backyard. It is a testament to the dedication and perseverance of the detectives who worked tirelessly to solve the case and bring the killer to justice. If you want to learn more about this case and others like it, be sure to like and subscribe for more true crime content.